Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here. This time reviewing on the final story from the Beast Wars 2022 annual. And the story is The Morphings, which is meant to parody, mock, and point out the flaws of beast machines, despite it being good but not great. It starts off with Nick saying, "I'll be out here. We're keeping watch until Primal gets back." And they decided to tell a story with Cheetle starting saying, "Haha, true. You know what, this gives me an idea. Did I ever tell you guys about the morphins?" And he points out it being like dark, gritty, as well as eternal night, much like beast machines, and saying it was on a planet, much like Cybertron, but desolated, cloaked in permanent night. Heck, maybe it was Cybertron. I can't say for sure. And he even points out that the residents there would turn into similar to Viacons called Servicons, which is obviously meant to be a parody of the Viacons, which were meant to be like Tankle, Thrust, as well as Striker and Obsidian. And even doing a parody of Megatron known as Mega Salvage, saying, "Think Megatron, just bigger, badder, and bleaker." And they point out that a small resistance group fought back. In other words, Optimus Primal, Cheetle, Rat Trap, Silverbolt, Night Scream, Black Arachnia, and Brutarica. But of course their numbers dwindled, which only consist of Nightstreak, Boondiska, and Silverhawk. Obviously, Beast Machines, Silverbolt, Nightscream, and Boondiska. And it points out how they were basically salvaging whatever they said, saying, "Frog, the Servercons had found us. On it, Boondiska. Sneak, grab whatever gear you can. Silverhawk, you'll need to dig now. Going as fast as I... Ugh! My claws!" And of course they try to save whatever they can of him, but turns out the virus that he was infected of is too great. And of course, try to do whatever they can to try and save him. And eventually, despite offering to do a test, a kind of pickup, it turns out Shriek learns to his horror that Silverhawk is too far gone, and flies up out of the air shaft and says, "Oh my sparks, that's it! Silverhawk won't deactivate in vain. These morphings, they're super strong, right? None of my experiments have stopped them. I've tried some nasty stuff. That's exactly why we are going to use these damned morphins to kill Mega Salvage." And of course gathered up whatever they can, and of course Shriek basically taking one of them, testing it, and knowing they've got an advantage. So they get the bomb ready, and we see how, despite their best efforts, Mega Salvage says, "Ha ha ha, foolish creature! How do you think I gained this power in the first place? I learnt how to reformat the morphings countless cycles ago. They work for me. No." And of course, ends up dying, ending Cheetle's story. And said, "The Defiant said goodbye forever. The end." Well, bummer. And they point out about how Cybertron might look different one day when they ever do get back, and might worry what Megatron would be like if he did the same thing. But Cheetle's saying, "Nah, come on, it's only a story. Megawit couldn't mess things up that bad, even if he tried. I'm sure Cybertron is there waiting for us as we left it. And I like how they kind of hint that there might be a Beast Machine story, but a bit more improved. So I think the story is actually not too bad. Again, it's meant to be more like a light-hearted parody of Beast Machines, just pointing out the flaws and continuity errors of it. Again, I think Failures had the right idea for a story, with the Valk and even Megatron and Optimus forming a possible alliance, because it did seem like they would have or could have used the Valk as villains, given the fact of the failed experiments there. But I think the story still deserves a thumbs up. Still good, and still alright. And I would say the Beast Wars annual is still pretty good. I think there's two good stories, one that did try, but I would have liked to have seen more other stories with more annuals, like covering other stories, events, and so on. So I think the annual deserves a thumbs up. Still good, and still alright. So, Comic Book Reviewer here, signing out.